Welcome to Extra Take. Today we will talk about how to engineer an addictive experience, and I will explain how streaming services, apps, social media, and gaming and other things are purposely designed to be as addicting as possible. Step 1. Set goals. The world as we know it, plugged in and online, interactive, is goal-obsessed. In the book Irresistible, it is said that the word perfectionism was so rare that you'd have to read 1,000 books before coming across it once, while now around 5% of books contain the word. I'm going to be kind just this one time and not really blame industries for purposely designing their products like this. There's a concept known as inbox zero that compels people to leave nothing unchecked. Work emails only go a few seconds unread. Snapchat stories from everyone in your friends list have to be viewed. Texts need to be answered, even if you're driving. It's a problem with our psychology that not everyone has. The problem with obsessing over goals is that they are actually counterproductive. A study mentioned in the book can clarify. A group of office employees volunteered to be studied while they were forbidden entirely from checking their work email. These employees walked around the office, used their desk phones more often, spent 3 times as much time outside, and left the office more often. At first it sounds like they were bored and needed more work to do. But in fact, they accomplished more work when they weren't shackled by their emails. They were more productive and also healthier. Constantly looking at their email left them in a state of high alert that never settles down. Anticipation causes constant anxiety, raising your heart rate and cortisol levels. There's a concept known as the zone of maximum productivity. Being interrupted from work or reading can remove concentration for up to 25 minutes. Think of how many times you've read a paragraph and then realized, I have no idea what I just read. Your cell phone or background music or constantly checking for emails can leave you in a perpetual state of non-concentration. Goals seem like a great thing, but they can work against you. Microsoft pioneered the added goal aspect of gaming with achievements, but now every online game has daily challenges that hook players into needing to sign on and play. They have to have a zero inbox. The social network era we live in is a vicious goal-setting arena that we all compete in. We constantly compare what we have to others. People can feel depressed or enraged when they see that their social capital online is generating less than other people's. Self-mutilation and suicide, particularly among teenage girls, has been steadily rising since this new plugged-in age really took off. Step 2. Feedback. This will begin with another experiment. Michael Zeller experimented with feedback and rewards in pigeons. Pigeons would peck a button that released food at random intervals. If the button dispensed food every time it was pushed, the pigeons pecked at it whenever they wanted a treat. No big deal. If the button dispensed food only about 10% of the time, the pigeons totally gave up. Pecking a button is not hard work, but pigeons can't do math, so a reward that only comes about 10% of the time just becomes not worth pursuing. However, when the button released food around 50 to 70% of the time it was pushed, the birds pecked at it well over twice as often as when it released food every time. I know that doesn't sound so compelling, but remember, pigeons can't do math. If they could, they wouldn't have given up on the 10% button. It is now widely accepted that the most successful way to administer positive reinforcement is with random, unpredictable rewards. This works for encouraging students and workers and dog training. You can't reward every time, but also not so seldom either. The brain releases far more dopamine when rewards are random as opposed to constant, and companies know this. I've said this on other videos before, but Facebook and Instagram will do this dirty trick where, let's say you post a picture, and within 10 minutes of posting it, 40 people like it. You will not get all of those 40 likes in real time. Facebook will hold on to them and throw a couple likes your way every hour or so, extending it all day. This gives you constant feedback, forcing you to keep opening the app and then view their ads. Feedback on social apps is vicious. Every time you post something online, you're gambling in a way. We all post things for stupid, self-serving reasons. We think we have something that everyone needs to hear, or we think we look hot, or we think we are funny. But we take it personally when our selfie that we took 8 times to get just right gets no attention. Contrary to what you might think, it's not the hot girls who flood your newsfeed on Facebook. It's people who garner very little attention, and only some of the time. Just like the pigeon. I see people do this on Facebook and Snapchat constantly. It's always people who aren't happy. They post content from other pages that they think tells their life story, and a lot of it seems like a cry for help or attention. A post here or there gets some attention, but then 5 in a row get none. It's a pattern that ensures constant posting. Speaking of gambling, what about gambling? Video lottery is disgusting and should be illegal. I'm all for letting people choose to make bad decisions, but companies are smart enough to hook you to their product in such a way as to eliminate any real choice. You are their brain slave. What video lottery does is it disguises complete losses as partial wins. Video blackjack will give you back a portion of your bet, so even though you lost money, you didn't lose all of your bet. So you convince yourself you're almost kind of sort of winning. Keno gives partial rewards too. Then there's the classic spinning roulette, or whatever you call it. Oh, I was only 1 cherry away from winning. Next time I'll get them. This is yet another lie we tell ourselves that hooks us onto gambling. Gamblers that have been studied with sensors show the same level of physical symptoms when they receive partial wins, which are actually losses in disguise, as when they receive genuine wins. Step 3. Deception. Retail stores and the way they price items might be the biggest lie that there is. This begins with the attitude of the consumer, which is severely warped. Customers don't save money on Black Friday because none of the items are free. The vast majority of crap, and it's all crap, that is bought on Black Friday would never be bought by anybody unless it was on sale. So no, you didn't save $400 on a TV. You spent $600 that you were never going to spend in the first place. You convinced yourself to buy a TV. And if you think you're really sticking it to the company when you buy stuff on Black Friday, then you're a narcissist and a useful idiot. Companies don't sell you their normal wares for extremely low prices on Black Friday. They specifically bring in tons of mass-produced, severely low-quality products that they make a killing in profit on. You're not buying something for 50% off. You're buying something for 100 times the cost it took to produce it. People who come to a store because of a big sale or hear while supplies last have already convinced themselves that they're going to get that item. But really, they've committed themselves to getting something. When consumers don't get what they want, they just buy something else, something more expensive. If you actually think about sales, they make no sense. How can a company afford to sell so many items at half off? Because they know that it will attract people to their store, and they will sell thousands and thousands more of their other items which are not on sale. They make money by having sales. Penny auctions are giant lies too. Penny auctions are like gambling. The odds are overwhelming that you will never win anything. The majority of bids that people buy are all used on one item, so you get absolutely nothing. Then there are mobile games. So-called freemium games are designed in a very particular way. I downloaded some of these and played them just to see, and they were all identical. You download the game, level 1 and maybe level 2 are really easy. Beginner's luck is a tried and proven way to hook somebody to something. Then level 3 is literally impossible. Or it would take so many hours to level up to earn enough imaginary mobile gaming dollars to pass it that the only way to do so is to spend real money to buy imaginary mobile game dollars, to cheat and buy imaginary mobile game items that actually allow you to play the game. Seriously, go download a mobile game and you'll see what I mean. Just don't spend any money, please. Step 4. Escalation. This was originally how mobile games got us addicted, and it is still the recipe for many of them. Some of you won't remember, but Temple Run was one of the first really big viral mobile games after Angry Birds, but before Clash of Clans. Here's why it's irresistible. The game starts off really easy, and they give you $500 imaginary dollars right away. The game is fast-paced, has catchy music, and changes constantly. The first 60 seconds or so are really easy, so eventually when you die, you are convinced that you are on a streak. This compels people to keep playing and wasting huge amounts of time. Oh, and you have to watch an ad every single time you start a level over. There are these concepts called stopping rules, which are mechanisms for deciding when to stop a process. The way these mobile games are designed eliminates the natural stopping rules, because you never feel like you lose. It's just one giant streak that gets interrupted every now and then. Food companies do this as well. If you eat a food that is rich in a particular flavor, your subconscious feels satisfied, even before you are full. Companies like Doritos chemically engineer their product, I'm not acknowledging Doritos as food, to not be particularly strong in any single flavor. The flavor profile is diverse and confusing. This plays tricks on your brain. Why can't I stop eating these? I don't know. Again, I'm all for letting people make their own bad decisions. And eating Doritos is always a bad decision. But when a company scientifically makes their product in a way that does not allow the consumer to genuinely make decisions, then I think we have a problem. And that's why I think making these videos is important. Step 5. Cliffhangers. The reason you can't leave your ex alone is because you don't have closure. Your relationship ended on a sort of cliffhanger. It's not just that it's over, there are so many new questions to now answer. Incomplete experiences are deeply unpleasant, and they will not leave our minds. We are much more dissatisfied with an incomplete story than we are satisfied with the best possible ending of a good story. TV shows have now adopted the brilliant money-making strategy of have a show that is literally irrelevant to life in any possible way, has characters that aren't really interesting and don't develop, eliminating the need for having to work hard on writing a script or employing people who are good at acting. Have them walk around doing nothing for 45 minutes. Then at the end, there's this big thing that happens and, oh no, how will they make it out of this one? And then the episode ends. Now you have to watch the next episode, where the entire conflict is resolved in the first 30 seconds, then the mediocrity of the show kicks in, and then another cliffhanger, and you tune in to see it resolved. The Walking Dead, the worst show ever made, because the difference between watching The Walking Dead and ISIS torture videos in terms of content is that there isn't any difference, utilized nothing but this strategy, and idiots everywhere fell for it. Pay attention to TV shows that streaming channels produce themselves. I guarantee the majority of them end on cliffhangers, so you have to keep the streaming channel open to watch the next one. Then after 6 hours, Netflix asks, "Are you still there?" And you see your pathetic reflection in your black TV screen. And yet you still click, "Yes, continue." Next time, on the thrilling conclusion to this 5-part series, I will be focusing on the consequences of a population that is addicted. Thanks for watching.